clear abilities like clairvoyance, clairsentience, all this like more psychic stuff that I'm getting more into it in touch over the last maybe few weeks ago and like quite recently. But it's like I had to give myself permission to believe that I already had them because I would say like maybe in the past I had a few experiences where I was very much connected to something more spiritual or something greater than just the physical body, but maybe I was not ready to fully receive it and fully accept that it's possible. Maybe it's kind of something weird or something like yeah, like airy fairy or something like woo. But actually, I had a few sessions in this context, and every time I gave that to friends, something magical happened, great transformation, and some messages directly coming from source. Like so, in this next 2 hours, there will be times it's Anthony speaking, but sometimes I'm just like channeling whatever comes through me, and it's pretty cool. And like, whoa, like you might feel a difference, and when it's like I don't have any expectations, any script, like just like we go with the flow,
Yep.
based on what are your current needs, your challenges, your vision, your goals. So the goal today is really to have even more clarity on what is next for you based on your current life situation.
Yeah.
Maybe get rid of some limiting beliefs, of some emotional baggage that no longer serve you for the next step of your life. And yeah, bro, just you will feel it like physically. It will not just be speaking. Like you will feel it's an energy shift, energy healing. There's something in the intangible that is happening, and just trust everything. And what is meant for you today will come out of this. So that's my
I love it. I'm an open book. You know, I'm an open book, and I love having repeat guests on, and I've never really had a coaching. I mean, I've had coaching calls, but none that kind of really, because I'm like like yourself, like I follow my intuition. So,
yeah.
and it's my intuition's never really steered me wrong. It's when I don't listen to it that's when issues arise. And I was actually listening to an audiobook by Dave Asprey last night. It's called Heavily Meditated, and he talks about tapping into your intuition even when you're the logical part of your mind's like, nah, this doesn't seem like it would work, or the
Yeah.
numbers don't jive. None of that matters when you really understand your personal intuition, is what he's saying. So that's why I'm really excited for this call.
Mhm. Well, welcome. And first of all, I want to start with just like let's take a few breaths because often, regardless of what time it is for you, like it's still early morning for you. Whatever happened before the call and what will happen after the call, the past is the past. The future is not given. We only have the now. So I invite you to close your eyes if you feel like it, and we're just gonna take a few deep breaths. You don't have to follow my own rhythm. It's just really much to get centered into the now. And I trust that whatever spirit guides you have, whatever deceased ones, angels, or anybody who wants to collaborate and contribute to this session, to this transformation, is called in, is here with us today. You might have some physical reaction to that. You can have some goosebumps, tingling on your crown chakra, in your throat, behind you, on your back, in your. I have some right now on my legs and here. So just trust that and come back to here now. So the first thing that comes to me, my friend, is right now you're at the middle of a road. So you have two paths in front of you. You have like a Y, a fork that is in front of you, the junction of a split, a decision that you might make. So tell me a bit more about what is your current life situation and where do you feel maybe torn or uncertain, unsure about what is the next best step for you based on what you truly want versus what is maybe logical or just good enough.
Well, I've recently in the last, I'd say 6 months, I've got absolute clarity on where I want to be and who I want to become. And I've narrowed it down to two things: become a Canadian certified personal trainer. So I got the national certification across Canada, so I could train clients. It's been my dream since I was younger. It's just there was actually two forks in the path, and I went the finance route because I was money driven back then.
Yeah.
I still am, but now I'm more purpose, mission, vision driven, learning from that previous experience. So I went the finance route, and I never looked back. It was a great decision. It set me up. It was a great career decision. It got me my home, my car, a good job, a good paying job. But then I realized after 4 or 5 years, I'm like, I thought I wanted to be in the industry for like 30 years. I'm like, oh my God. Like when I first got into it, I was like the youngest guy. I was 20 years old. And then I was like, holy smokes, all the books that I read, all the classes in school, all my networking that I did while I was in school, it all aligned. It was total alignment at the time, right?
Mm.
So my intuition was correct at that time. But sometimes in certain phases of our life, that was one phase of our life, and now you might transition to another phase. And now I'm in another phase. And my heart and my soul and my mind have been telling me, you've got there's my two passions have been fitness and finance. And I did fitness first. So that was my first love at the time. But really, truly, deeply in the heart of my soul, fitness has been my first love, and finance was actually second love.
Mm.
So, and I didn't feel like I explored that. And I'm an explorer, an adventurer, an experimenter. And I've got a very healthy curiosity. That's why a lot of people like to speak with me or get to know me, because I'm a very curious person. Um, so that healthy curiosity has always, kept me on a good path, and met great people. So I want to use that to build my new career path as a Canadian certified personal trainer. And I've already been, and a lot of people, they do their education first and then get their experience, or maybe they're doing it at the same time. But the way I've done it, I've kind of done it in reverse. I've done experience first and then education for
Yeah.
the fitness portion of my path that I've been trying to create. So I've been building my brand online for about 5 years, and although I've just started to see monetary, um, started to see a little bit of income. So it was mind blowing. I was like, I'm so grateful, because it's a
Congrats,
brand
man.
that,
Congrats.
yeah,
It's a big
it's
thing.
an amazing feeling, right? Because like you said, once you get totally aligned with who you want to become, what your vision is, you get clarity, right? It's like the Terry Crews said in his book and in a podcast with Lewis Howes. He said it's our job as human beings, when we're younger and stuff, like there's a puzzle. As soon as we're born, there's a puzzle that's all scattered across the ground, or maybe on a table, and it's all the pieces are all over the place. But then as our life goes on and we get older, and we're getting into our career years where we're work, or business, 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 um, we're slowly putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And the pieces of my puzzle, the picture that's been reappearing over and over again as I'm putting the pieces of the puzzle together, has been training people mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Mm.
It's
Beautiful.
the trifecta, and doing all that, I know will help me lead a life of fulfillment, and will give me all of the monetary, um, personal, financial, spiritual, like the whole trifecta of the life that I want to create. I know deep down in my gut and in my intuition that I'm meant to do that, and it's like you said, it's like, yeah, there's I'm thinking about logic a little bit, but I'm more thinking about intuition on this
Yeah.
decision. And I've already there's 3 courses. I've already finished the first course. I wrote the exam. I just have to redo a portion of the exam, but I know I'm on the right path, and my heart and my mind and my spirit are telling me like you're making the right decision.
And what would you say is the biggest fear that you have in your current shoes today between where you are now and how you see yourself be in the future? Like, let's like the apex of yourself, like the best version of yourself. Of course, we're always evolving, we're always growing, but with your current mentality of like what is around you as you see yourself, and we can speak about this picture in a little while, but what is this gap that is missing that maybe you feel you're not equipped yet, or is there some fear of something in particular that is holding you back potentially, or maybe not?
Um, you know what? Like this is the first time that I'm actually not as afraid as I usually am. So of
Hmm.
course my greatest fear, because I'm not ready to go full time on it, right? Fully, because I don't have I need all of the I need my accreditation.
Yeah.
Um there's a few things I need before I make that before I will be able to make that full-time transition to changing industries, right? Because it'll be a total 180. So I'm going from financial services to fitness, health and wellness industry, right? So it's not, so if I was to lose my job all of a sudden, that would be terrifying because I don't have any backup. Um, Although I know I would get through it, that would that would not be ideal. Because I'm not someone that will go full fledged until I have right until I have put my best foot forward and I'm prepared, right? Because basically my plan is um, slowly transition out of the industry by okay, I get my credential, I get that, and then as I get the credential, then that will enable me to get certain jobs. So I'll use the jobs not necessarily for income, but well, yeah, it'll be for income and paying the bills, but it'll be to get into the industry, get my foot in the door, build my experience because I still need experience because I haven't trained clients at all, right? Because you need those credentials, right? So because if you ever get sued and you don't have any of your liability insurance and stuff like that, it's a huge risk you're taking, right? Or if someone gets injured and they sue me
Mhm.
and they're like, oh, you didn't help me, or yeah, if they get injured or something happens, right, health wise, right, like yeah, it could be a catastrophe for your finances. You don't want to risk that. So,
Right.
and I know, and I've speaking with other people that are in the industry or that have been in the industry, they said, yeah, you want to make sure you get your credentials. You want to make sure you right because as soon as you get your credentials, it enables you to get through the fitness associations your own liability insurance, right, which I'll definitely need.
Yeah.
So basically, it's small baby steps, right? While I'm working full time, that's the goal. As I transition from to get my credentials, then next step is get into some like a city gym, right? Community gym, and then maybe a private gym. Start training their clients, and then building, and then on the side building my own clients with my own brand, which is exactly what I've already got people interested. As soon as I told people about this path change, they're like, "Oh, what? I would love you to train me,
Mm.
coach me," because like you said, it's paying attention to the signs as you're going through life, and people always come to me for that advice, even though I'm not certified yet,
Yes.
because I'm a walking billboard of that. I walk
Yeah.
the walk. I show them like, hey, like I'm the first to try any new fitness or biohacking or like fasting, ice baths. I'm always the first person to try anything that's new and emerging, and I don't judge until I've tried it myself.
Right.
And then I look at the science because sometimes the science isn't there yet, but it doesn't mean it's not. It doesn't mean it's incorrect. It just means that you you know case studies and stuff are needed. More data is needed. But I love being part of the data um, when things are new and emerging because I see it as an opportunity. So, but yeah, greatest fear would be losing my job on the way to getting to that changing path.
Yeah.
Um, but I know I'd figure it out if God forbid if it happened. Um,
For
but
sure.
I know I know it crystal clear. like light as day. Like I know exactly like what I have to do, and I'm doing it. It's just it takes time. It takes time. It's the three P's: patience, perseverance, persistence.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you're the first one to try uh, new things on a daily basis. Are there some recurring thoughts, or like where are the moments that when you speak to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you realize it's not optimal,
Mm-hmm.
but you might have some just negative self-talk or something like stickiness or ickiness, like, oh man, why is this coming back to me? Is there like a cycle, a loop, or something that is like just you can't seem to be able to pass through that yet?
Mm. That would be um that would probably be just self-limiting beliefs. Um
Give me an example.
like everyone has them. Like
Yeah.
moments where you're just like, I have days like that, absolutely. Where my biggest thing is I'll stretch myself to the absolute limit, and I have a tendency to take on more than I can, right? More than I can chew. Um, and when you do that, like regularly, like what happened was it actually happened a while ago. Thanks for bringing that up. I got a bad, and like, uh, it was like a gut, like I had like a bad infection recently. It was basically like food poisoning,
Yeah.
and it like took me out for like a whole week. It
Wow.
was end of July,
Oh
and
wow.
because I've been hammering the content creation. I was doing basically 2 to 3 posts a day, right? Like all this content that we're creating right now for this coaching call. Like I was literally doing 2 to 3 posts a day on all three platforms: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I had to drop Instagram. I just wasn't seeing the growth on there.
Yeah.
So I think I have a tendency, because again, I'm like a one man show, right? The podcast, I've fully created the YouTube channel, all of it. It's been total solo mission. So when it's solo the whole time, right, and you're not getting help, that's when yes, those negative thoughts can creep in and be like, oh, um, like why, like why do I feel I like I don't say why do I feel I'll succeed, but the negative thought loop is more like, oh, like, like you're burning yourself, you're burning the candle at both ends. Like just slow down, just like, because I'm either balls to the wall or I'm in park. That's just how I
Yeah.
operate.
Mm.
um Balance is something I have a really hard time with, but sometimes it's needed, right? To recalibrate, you need to. It's I like to think more like in buckets, like, okay, I need to be 100% present for relationship. I need to be 100% present for family. And then when I'm in those moments, and then I need to be 100% present for my brand, for my business, right? When I'm in those moments of, right, carving out time to do that. Um, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot of weekends, a lot of mornings, a lot of late nights. Like I've been putting in the work for years, and the hardest part when those negative thoughts creep in is more like when I'm starting to get burnt out, and then that's when I'm just like my or like I haven't slept well, my immune system's a bit shot, and that's when those thoughts creep in and like, hey, like, um like you're you're kind of like, in my head I'm like, oh, like you're burning the candle at both ends. You just quit. Like this is like way too much. And then but then the so that's like my kind of like my ego, right?
Yeah.
But then my intuition's like, no, 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 no. You've got more in you. You've got more in you. You just have to, sometimes you just have to slow down. It's not about speeding up. Sometimes it's necessary to slow down. So getting that infection, having that food poisoning end of July, it made me realize like, okay, there's no quitting. I don't stop until I succeed. I don't stop until this is full time. I don't stop until it's this is what I'm doing. Um, so definitely those negative thoughts creep in, and I'm just like, oh, like this is a crap ton of work. Like I've got no help. It's all me. It's a solo mission. It's It's me figuring it out, right? Me flubbing about and figuring it out on my
Yeah,
own. And but yeah, that's the entrepreneurial mindset, right? Everyone starts out that way, like startup, right? Like this is a startup, right?
it
Um,
is.
and a lot of people don't make money at all for like Joe Rogan, his podcast. When people are asking him, like, did you make any? He's like, I didn't make a single dime for 5 years or 5 to 7. Sometimes that's just how it is, right? The brand needs to be nourished. The brand needs to be built. The brand needs to be refined. And that's what's been happening. So when I look back and I'm like, and I have those moments of doubt when I'm like, no, I should just pack it in. It's like stop doing the social media thing. It's going nowhere, right? But then the other side of me is like, no way. I've sweat every single day, every weekend, every like anytime, whatever let's say my wife's away, she's visiting family, or I'm not like I wouldn't see my friends. Um, they just don't understand how much time and effort and sweat equity that I put into creating what I'm creating. Like all the content, all like I got thousands of pieces of content now, and it's been like 4 years. Um, like between all the platforms, right? The most on YouTube because of the podcast, because I've repurposed the podcast episodes. But I know all of that together, that, the brand, the blog, the podcast, it wasn't for nothing. I've done it because my heart told me and my intuition told me, you need to do this. You're going to, it's going to create something huge for you. It's going to be giant potential for something. And all the connections that I've been making online, getting in line with the right people. Yeah, my brain, body, and soul is like, don't stop. You're so, so close. So that's my spirit or higher power, whatever you want to call it. My intuition has
Yeah,
kept me going despite all the obstacles, despite the setbacks, despite the days when I do need to take a couple of days to recalibrate. And I message my followers. I'm like, hey, I'm back. Like and I just say straight up, like creative burnout is a thing, and you do need to take time for yourself, because especially because since most of the people they're doing everything. They're doing the marketing, they're doing the branding, they're doing the content creation, and it's like a full-time job on top of your full-time job or your business. So, but it doesn't mean you can't succeed. It just means you need to take time. You just need to take time to slow down sometimes, and then other times when you're on a sprint, I go on a sprint. I listen to my
yeah,
mind and my body, and I hammer it. And but then when you look back, that's kind of the way the year is anyway in any job, right? It's little sprints, and then little time, and then times of slowing down. But when you're in a sprint, yeah, it's like pedal to the metal, right? You feel it. Your mind and body and your soul, you feel it. But when your mission is totally crystal clear, right? Like I want my one word is empowerment. So
yeah,
over the years, I had a podcast guest on, Rocky Romanella. He worked his way up the chain in UPS. He became like a VP. Like all the way from just the courier position all the way up to VP. And he said, um, the way that you get totally aligned with your mission and your objective, and what gets me up in the morning, he said, is I want to be. It's like one word. It's like I want to be thoughtful. I want people to see me as thoughtful. And then at the time, my word was energy, because I was still pretty young, right? I just
yeah,
started the podcast. He was like one of my first probably 10 to 20 guests that I had on. And then he's like, yeah, I totally see that, Alex. I totally see like you that passion, that energy. And then but my words transition over the years to empowerment, because what I want to do, what I'm doing. So then anytime I doubt myself, or anytime I have a period of doubt when I'm like, oh man, this is too much, I don't know if I can sustain this long term, I go back to my word. What's my word? My whole mission is to empower people, their mind, their body, and their soul. And that's what keeps me going. That's what wakes me up in the morning. That's what makes me up early. That's when I'm having later nights and I'm trying to, work on my courses, work on my content. That's what keeps me going, because it all it takes is for one person to that doesn't even know you to take a look at your content. They're like, "Oh my god, don't stop doing this. I love your content. I love," and I get those. You get those comments, right? Yes, the negative comments can be loud, and I do get those too. But it's like that's a distraction. That's not that doesn't align with my mission. My mission is to find people that want to be empowered, that want to know like there's another way to
Yeah,
think, there's another way to feel, there's another way to evolve. And that's what my brand's all about, is to help people flex their mind, body, and soul. It's very crystal clear.
thank you for sharing that. It's beautiful, bro. I'd like to invite you 12 months from now. It's August 17th, 2026. What happened this year as we're together and we celebrate together and you've achieved everything you wanted to achieve, all the goals that you set for yourself, it came true. Paint me the picture of how is your life? What have you done over the last 12 months as your future self, but speaking in the now? Tell me about your achievement. Tell me about your impact. Tell me about if you have some metrics that you like to consider, like whatever is so clear for yourself, share them with me because this will give them power. Your words are spell, and the more you speak about it with extreme clarity, the faster it comes to reality. And
Yeah.
when you're clear on what you want, all the necessary components, the right people, the right timing, the right environment, the right resources, monetary or others, they will be magnetized by your energy. And you know as much as I do that this is real. Like you might be against that old law of attraction, like just go work for yourself. Go work on yourself for a little while. Have that clarity, and then tell me it's not happening. It will happen. You don't know
Yeah.
how much time it will take, but
Yeah.
it's gonna happen when God
Yeah.
decides that it's ready for you. Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you with absolute certainty, because again, I've been working on myself too. Like, I do my daily meditations, and it's a very focused meditation. It's been more open focused lately because I was
Yeah.
losing some of my imagery, but I had very vivid imagery of me. So, for example, I helped my friend lose 30 pounds, and I was not a personal trainer. This was just
Mm,
friend to friend. He wanted to change, and all it comes down to with anyone is they want it bad enough. And if you want anything bad enough, it's yours. You'll find a way to achieve it. So I helped him, me and my buds went on a camping trip, and I told that because of one of the other friends that was there. He's like, would you train me? And I said, absolutely, I'd train you. And the only difference between you and anyone else, right? Because he's a little overweight. He wants to like, he does lift weights currently. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. But he wants to get even more dialed in. He does OMAD. He does one meal a day. I'm like, okay. I said, let me get back to you once I got my certification, and I will absolutely take you on as a client. So I see myself in the next 12 months. I have a full client list, full time, so
how many?
full, 30, 30 clients. I'm training 30 clients a month, online and offline.
Perfect.
Yep. And then I've already helped, because this is a year, so I've already helped 5 to 10 clients lose 30 plus pounds. No, sorry, let's say 50 plus pounds. So
Yeah.
30 clients onboarded. It's become a full time, like, it's full time entrepreneurship. So I'm building my own book of business. I have built my own book of business. 50 plus pounds lost per client. So right, we said 5 to 10 clients. So that's that's 250 pounds lost, let's say, between 5 clients. And and they feel so transformed, and they have so much excess energy that they're texting me on WhatsApp, right? Like, they're from all over the globe, in Canada, outside of Canada, and they're like, Alex, like, your your philosophy, your fitness philosophy, not only have I physically transformed, but I've mentally transformed, and I've gotten more in tune with my intuition and my spirit, my spiritual side, because 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 you taught me that it's not just becoming physically fit. It's about becoming mentally fit, and it's also about becoming in tune with my emotions and building my emotional awareness and my emotional adaptability, agility, and emotional intelligence, because it's not just about transforming your body, it's about all three: mind, body, and soul optimization. And I'll be getting messages from clients just saying like, you totally changed my life. All the weight, all the stress and the baggage and the hurt, maybe the prior traumas I was holding in my body that turned into increased my weight over a long period of time. I've totally unloaded that, unleashed that through your teachings, through your methods. And I'm so eternally grateful for that. And I'm grateful for you as my personal trainer.
I feel it, bro. I feel it in my heart right now. So what is, you see now the interesting thing is there is no gap between the future and the now because you spend the time on yourself to be clear on that. I could instantly feel the depth of your vision, the depth of your desire to have this impact, which is, I will be honest with you, in today's society, it's pretty rare to find people like us. I will also include myself in this, not in an elite kind of way, but just people who have the discipline and the consistency to spend daily time on personal development, whether it be reading books, studying courses, the health, yeah, the gym, other sports that they enjoy, meditation, gratitude, all those beautiful things that from the outside, when somebody doesn't do it, it may sound like, oh, well, is it worth the time? I will give you a specific example. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I was way more of a workaholic, I would say, and I neglected my health just for the sake of making money. So I was working on my computer from morning to night, and I remember one day my wife told me that my computer was my mistress. And that was a wake up call for me,
Mm,
like very painful. Like you, as a man, you don't want to hear that. So I was literally
yeah.
like sleeping at like 1 a.m., waking up at 6, 7. Then I didn't have a relationship. So when the work starts to affect your marriage or whoever is listening to this call, your relationship in general, ask yourself, what are you seeking? And is the benefit, whether it be money or something else, are you looking for prestige, for status or whatever? Is that gonna actually also help your other spheres of life because your life it's like an ecosystem, it's a holistic environment. You cannot just focus on one thing and then expect the other spheres to feel empowered. So to come back to the thing about the workaholic, once I realized that, I was able to snap myself out of it and start to reinvest time in my relationship, in my health, and realizing like me going to the gym and feeling amazing is going to give so much to all my family members. It's going to give so much to all my clients, everybody I speak with on a daily basis, because I love myself more than when I'm just like a skinny nerd on the computer doing whatever I was doing, like texting, making marketing, making videos. But then you lose touch with the reality. So, did you have any period of your life maybe like where it was more difficult with your wife because of that?
Absolutely. So it was a wake up call for me recently, because I was just because one thing I felt like I was neglecting was because they say on social media it's about connecting, it's about engagement, right?
Yeah.
Engaging with people on their pages, engaging with their content, and I don't feel I was doing that enough. And you don't have to, if you don't have to, but me being the kind of person that I am, I like to go balls to the wall. I like to be okay. If they're saying I'm not engaging enough, it's half an hour to 45 minutes a day or whatever, right? Plus, I was posting 2 to 3 times a day. Plus, I would spend two to 2.5 hours Saturday, Sunday, um, curating those posts for the week, right? Using the AI to help me curate the posts, the reels, from my podcast, plus curating my own post, right, for recipes, training, mindset hacks, etc. And then my wife said to me, she's like, you've been on your phone a lot lately. She's like, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, I know. And you know, when your spouse says that, you want to, it just makes you think, okay, I need to be more intentional when I'm doing my posts. So I have to cut back because you don't have to do it as long. I just Sometimes we think that we need to do things for a lot longer than we actually need to do them to see a benefit or see a result. So I've cut back my engagement way, like, a lot. And it was a trend that was going on TikTok, right? Like how to go viral on TikTok. And the reason it worked because it creates engagement, because it creates conversation, right? And I like to experiment. I'm like, okay, this is working for people. Why don't I try it? Let's give it a go. So I started doing it. I wasn't seeing a ton of results, and I was spending a ton of time on people's pages, commenting, liking, doing everything that they say, right? But it was taking up a lot of time. I was doing it when I was playing with my dog. I was doing it like in between those moments when maybe when my wife's cooking, she's like, "Can you entertain the dog? Go and play with the dog." And I would do it with him, and then he'd start barking at me because I wasn't present. And so now what I've done is I've dialed it way back. I haven't done as much as engagement as I want, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to refine my approach. I'm going to bulk schedule like that, like how I was doing it before. I would bulk schedule my and curate my posts for, like, like today's Sunday, like meal prep. Meal prep. My thing has always been meal prep Sunday. I bake it into the schedule, so we're at least prepping a few meals for the week. So then it's like Monday through or Sunday through Wednesday. I don't even think about it. I'm getting healthy nutrition in. I I'm on a free trial right now for Apple Fitness Plus till October. We don't even have to think about the workouts we're doing. That's baked in. So when you do that, it makes your life more optimized, more efficient, and you're not stressing about the gaps. You're not stressing about, oh, how are we going to train? How are we going to eat? So it's the same goes for your business. You can make it more optimized and efficient for how you want it to operate, right? Because especially when you're solo, you need to be intentional. We need to be intentional. We need to be like self-aware about how we're affecting our partner, our kids, right? And how we can show up for them.
Yeah,
So it was a wake up call for me to be like, okay, I can be more intentional and I can do it in less time, and I can do it either at night or in the morning or at lunchtime, right? I have other times when I can do it where it's not affecting our time, right? And that's super important. And I just want to illustrate that to everyone. Uh, if you have your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, especially when they're noticing that you're slipping or you're not as present, that's a wake up call. That's okay. Sometimes you don't have to necessarily dial it back. You need to shift when and how you're putting your effort in, so you can redirect that effort to certain time slots um, outside of those moments when you need to be present for your family, your partner, your job. So you're not in this distracted state. Because I
exactly.
because I'm the type of person, I have hyper focus or I can be incredibly distracted, and
Yeah,
it's a double edged sword. And I
yeah.
know I feel like you might feel that as well, Anthony, and others listening to this.
I had this.
Most people I would say are neurodiverse. I've never been diagnosed with anything, but if I was to get diagnosed, I would think that I'd be on the ADHD spectrum,
Yeah,
just because I can do these sprints. I can do these very cognitively demanding types of work outside of work because you get passionate. I want to win. I want my brand to flourish, and I want the business to flourish, and I know it will. And it takes time. It takes more time, especially when you're doing it on your own, right? You don't have a team. So, but your intuition is such a great guide, and also listen to your intuition when others around you are saying you haven't been as present. Listen to that. Listen to your family, your spouse, and use that as a reminder, like when you need to be more immersed. So now, some changes that I'd recommend, or some changes that I've made for myself.
mhm,
I will. I don't do it all the time, but I will do it purposely and intentionally. I will leave my phone at home. Like we're gonna go on a hike later. So I really try my best. I know I still slip up sometimes, but I really try my best. And I'll say, okay, one of us can leave our phone, like, or I'll volunteer. I'll be like, I'll leave my phone at home. I got my Apple Watch. I can still get notifications, but I usually have my phone always on Do Not Disturb, pretty much 99% of the time. So it'll be on Do Not Disturb, or I'll leave it at home when we're on a hike or on a walk. That's our time. That's our time to decompress. That's our time to vent about work. It's our time to talk about our future, right? Things we want to do. Me and my wife are avid travelers. We love to travel. We want to keep expanding that, um, keep going on more trips,
Yeah.
exploring more of the world, because it makes you, it creates a very um, diverse mindset, right? It helps you appreciate other cultures. It helps you learn about other cultures, and I think it's a great thing. And when we have kids, I want to share that with our kids too. Like, hey, like North America is just one section of the world, and we need to show you guys all the rest of the world too, because there's so much out there. There's so much to learn. There's so much amazing things about life that you can learn from other cultures. Um, so that's a big part. And then I would say another thing is to I like to meditate. When I fall off my meditation, I feel like I'm more reactive. I'm more I can get easily triggered more. So need to meditate daily. Even if it's a smoking busy day, most of my routine is 30 minutes a day, but some days it only might be 10 minutes, and that's totally fine. So never the more that I do my meditation practice, the more it enhances my presence, helps me show up, and the way that I show up is better. And then exercising together. Me and my wife exercise together every time. And then even when she's like, "Oh, I'm too tired tonight," I'm always like, "Okay, no problem. I'll do yoga. I'll do right." And then it's like listening to your body. Listen to your body and your mind of what your mind and your body needs. And I've been doing that a lot more recently. It's when we neglect when our body the body keep there's a book called The Body Keeps Score,
Hmm.
and it says so everyone holds stress in different areas of their body when you're getting stressed. For myself, I hold it in my hips because again, I work a desk job, right? Typing all day,
Yeah.
your back gets strained. So I'm constantly like
Traps.
repot. Yep, yeah, traps, shoulders, hips, lower back. When
Hmm.
I'm getting really stressed, or my neck, I can actually
Yeah.
feel when I'm getting stressed because I get a twinge of like in the nerves, like in my neck,
Hmm.
like when I'm getting flush. It's like a blood flow when I'm getting annoyed or stressed or whatever. It's like a visceral response. I instantly feel when I'm about to get triggered. So pay attention. So anyone that's listening to this, pay attention to what your body and your mind's telling you. Sometimes you need to well you need to we all need to listen to our body and our mind as much as possible. It's when we're ignoring those signs that our body and our mind's giving us, that's when things don't they kind of go downhill, right? We might overwork ourselves, overtrain, um, but all that matters is consistency, adherence, right? Duration. I've really gotten away from duration. Doesn't matter how long I'm doing something, it matters focused. Intentional and focused time creates more presence and more inner peace. And then delegating, automating. I delegate a lot of right content ideas. I'll write down my content ideas, and then I have the AI create it, right? Because solo creator, solo entrepreneur, um, it takes time. Um, and when it's just yourself, you just have to find ways to be more efficient in less time, and that's what I've been teaching myself to do. And when you do it that way, your life feels more optimized. It feels more manageable, and then there's less overwhelm there, and there's less stress because you've created that um, type of schedule or routine.
Hmm. Would you say that your wife is she's exactly on the same page as you in terms of big vision? Like, do you see yourself? You spoke about traveling, about like having
Yeah,
kids and everything.
yeah,
Do you have a specific time in the week that you? So you mentioned the hike. Like, do you mastermind together on what you want next? And if you do, tell me a bit more about your long-term vision with your wife in more details. If you have some, I would love to hear about that. It's very inspiring for me.
yeah. So, like for instance, we're big planners. We're visionaries. We're dreamers. So, for instance, something that we are doing coming up is traveling to Japan, and it's
Oh,
required a lot of logistics. It's required a
wow.
lot of kind of preparation, right? Like we've been doing it piece by piece, right? even when life gets smoking busy, we'll just do what we can, right? Okay, we booked all of our flights. So the way that we're doing it, we're doing Kyoto or flying to Tokyo. So flying to Tokyo, we spend a couple days in Tokyo, a couple days in Kyoto, a couple days in Osaka, and then we end in Okinawa. And Okinawa is kind of like the Caribbean side of Japan that no one really knows about. And then they're like, and we looked it up, and I was like, and I told my wife, we're like, because we've been watching videos for months, we've been researching for months, right? Like how strong is the yen? Because of my finance background, I know I'm always crunching numbers all the time, right? Like we're budget travelers, right? We want to stretch our dollars as much as possible, but we want to enjoy too. So kind of the way we do things, we're both in agreement. We like to save for a long period of time, so we like get to live like king and queens when we're in doing that trip, right? So we will dial back spending, right, for our other stuff. Like when people do more like weekend getaways and stuff like that, we've dialed that back simply because we have a big goal in mind. And sometimes most of the time, big goals require a little bit more sacrifice. You don't have to, not even sacrifice, just reallocation of time and resources, right? So anyone that's listening to this, when you've got a large goal, if you've got that large goal and it's like, okay, there's my North Star. That's like laser beam focused. This is what we want. We're both in agreement. That's what we want. Okay, that's fine. That's going to require a reallocation of time and resources, right, to that area. So it'll seem like sometimes life can be when life's in when you want to be great and you want to do well, greatness and chaos go hand in hand. When you're right, there can't be chaos without greatness. So life will still go on. Life still has its regular whatever speed. But when you've got absolute clarity in your vision and your dreams, um, and you've got that tunnel vision of what you want, sometimes it's just a reallocation of time and resources, which is what's required for trips like this, because they require a little bit more planning, a little bit more logistics. But we're so ecstatic about it because as we talk to people like over the last year, like getting the flights done, we pre-booked all of our hotels. That's all done. We're literally at the final stretch. We're leaving at the end of October, and basically it's like, holy crap, we're going to Japan. And we were talking about it more. And we were actually watching a video before this call. Like every weekend I try and watch some videos, because when we watch videos about what you want, when you look at pictures about what you want day in and day out, and like of all your goals, it helps re-solidify that you're gonna get it, because you're reaffirming your belief, you're reaffirming your vision. So anyone that's listening to this, I've got a dream board in my office. I've got pictures of my idols in my office. And then especially when I was because I've pretty much trained solo for the last few years in our home gym. I set up a nice home gym. We've got pretty much everything we need. Um, when you do that, sometimes you need a little bit more motivation, a little more self-discipline. You're relying on your discipline, right? So some of the things that have really worked really well is, again, watching videos, what are reading posts that are super uplifting, optimistic, right? People that have done what you want to do, pay attention to those people. Success leaves clues, whether you're going on a trip, whether you're trying to build a brand or business. Other people are going to be in the shoes that you want to eventually fill. So I really pay attention to that. It helps enhance your intuition. Um, and it's so motivating. Like if I like a video, like a training video, like I was watching like Mike Tyson train, and it's just called Mike Tyson training reel or something. And it's like black, kind of like black. There's like shows like black and white and then in color. And it's just because it has the Darude Sandstorm song in it, and it's just like it's so motivating. And I'd watch the same videos over and over and over again. And then there was these bodybuilding reels, and they had really cool music in them. It's like music and the right imagery creates and helps enhance your vision, right, for what you want. So I was at the time when I was 19. I know I'm rambling, but it's all part of the vision. That my buddy, he got into bodybuilding when he was 17, and then I started to get into bodybuilding when I was 17, because I was always like pretty thin. Like I was a runner. I was like running like 30K a week at the time, soccer, basketball, lacrosse, playing like multiple sports. And then I started watching these videos because I'm like, okay, I'm training solo. I need like an adrenaline hit before I start training sometimes, right? Just to invigorate that self discipline. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd watch over and over again. These videos were called the creator was called Zasny or something like that, and they'd take clips from bodybuilding shows and stuff like that, and then there'd be like voiceover of like them. And then the bodybuilder would be saying stuff like, "Oh, like I don't care what I do, but I want to become a professional bodybuilder, and I train 7 days a week, 2 to 3 hours a day, or 3 to 4 hours a day." And just hearing that voiceover motivated me, right? Just the work that these people put in, like they're putting their bodies and their minds to the absolute limit. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
how can I do that? How can I do that in a different way? But that relates to kind of my vision, my dreams,
Yep.
my hopes, my aspirations. And so it works incredibly well. It's just like, think about it this way. It's like when professional athletes are studying their competition. This is kind of a similar concept to that.
Mm.
You're studying what invigorates your self-discipline, what helps you get up earlier or go to bed later to get the stuff done that you want to get done. And when I look back to all the success that I've had up until this point, that's what it comes down to. It's recycling yourself up, doing that 180 when even when there's still doubt in there. I've had tons of workouts where I'm not motivated at all, but like Chris Hemsworth says, movement causes motivation. Once we get moving on something, once we start putting in the work, then our brain and body are like, okay, yeah, like I know you're tired and everything, or you might feel tired, but you don't have to do a lot. You just have to do. And when we start
Mm.
doing,
Lovely.
that's what creates this cascade of the ripple effect of, okay, once the wheels and the spokes are in motion, they continue to stay in motion. So as long as we keep that train a rolling, then you keep building, stacking your momentum over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So the same thing is applied with this Japan trip. Me and my wife we're planners. We sit down pretty much weekly, like today, like we're going to be talking about it, right? Where I got to do a tang, because when you're doing like going a trip abroad, they like to see that, like to see where you're going, where you're staying. We're going to print off we've already got all of our receipts printed off for the flights, the hotels, and then we're going to do a virtual slide deck with Canva because Canva's
Mm.
got a plug-in for ChatGPT. So we're going to create a slide deck of, okay, like I slide through it on my phone because Canva, you can be offline. You don't need data all the time. So we're going to slide through it and be like, okay, today we've got X amount of yen. We've got these places we want to hit up. We got this. And then our goal is like one excursion a day kind of a thing. Keep it to one. Like could be whatever, right? Whatever we're feeling. So we're just kind of planning for that. So that's kind of the stage that we're at. Um, and then yeah, we're leaving in the next few months. And then on top of that, we've been talking about kids. We've got a timeline on that. So
There
it's
you
just
go.
anyone that's listening to this, and then it's like listening to your intuition, like having a heart to heart with your partner, and asking them, hey, like how are you feeling? Where's your head at? Um, and then yeah, and then getting in line with each other. It's knowing your partner and knowing what goals, like, because you're gonna have your individual goals and then you're gonna have your goals together as a couple, and that those are very important. You want to have both. It's not just joint goals. It's both. It's individual goals, right? And I told my wife too. I was like, um, on the vision board, because I've written my goals on the vision board, and I've kind of written some joint vision board goals. And I'm like, hey babe, like, yeah, I want us. This is a joint effort. I want us to do this together. I want you to showcase like some other goals that you have, right? And just it creates the vision. It creates the dream. It creates the inspiration. When it's written, it's like when it's written in ink, it's very very powerful. It doesn't mean you have to hit those goals. It's just a challenge. Every human being needs challenges because we we create and harness our own personal creativity on how to tackle those challenges when we
Yeah.
have a target. We need a target. It's like an arrow that's going to be, you need a bullseye target. Everyone
Exactly.
needs a bullseye target. And when you have that, it it keeps the wheels in motion. And even when there's hardships and obstacles and setbacks, as long as you have that bullseye that you're always shooting for, you shoot for the star, or you shoot for the stars, or you shoot for the biggest star, you're gonna end up somewhere among the stars.
Yeah. Exactly. That's beautiful, bro. Thank you for sharing that. It's something that I can really resonate to, and having this, being able to think bigger and dream bigger in a society when you're not conditioned to be this way. It's literally like a life hack because once you just accept that whatever you believe you can make possible, regardless of the time frame, then you really just, you open the gates. And when it gets difficult, and like I'm the first one to say that I've been through a life transition myself over the last few months, and it was such a big leap of faith into the unknown. And finally, the thing that I went from car sales to high ticket sales, which didn't work out after all. So to make a long story short, because I think it's relevant for this conversation, I was in car sales. I was performing well, but I was not making the kind of money that was I was hoping for a guy who sells one car a day. One day I woke up, I kid you not, my soul told me to quit this job. It was it was so painful. Like first of all, I had a concussion like a week before that, so like I hit my head on the metal bar at the dealership in the weirdest
Oh,
place that only me can. Like at 6'4", only me could hit this bar. I got concussed, and then I had this week to reflect on myself. And again, back to your food poisoning story. So I was thinking like my intuition was telling me, Anthony, you're meant for something greater. You're meant for something bigger than just selling cars. But I was in this paradigm of like, I need to support my family. My wife is not working. Who's going to pay for everything? But I was still not making enough to cover all the basics. So like, that's not, that doesn't make any sense. So one day I woke up and I gave my resignation letter. My soul told me to write it. It was the scariest thing in my life. Told me just write a letter. You're not giving them 7 days or 14 days notice. You quit today. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you? Is this a joke? But
whoa.
I had to do it. It was like if I would not do it, it would be more painful in my whole body. So I did it. I quit. Then I got attracted to an opportunity of training under high ticket sales by clicking an ad, and it was a paid program and everything. But then on this journey of a few months of training, there were some roadblocks, some delays. There were always something like not flowing with life. It was always like something is, why is there so much delay? Like, why is this person so hard to reach? I'm ready to work full time. Why is it so long to take? And at the same time, as I was doing this, I was getting closer and closer to my current business partner with whom I make my community right now. And we can speak about this at the end. We were very close together and getting very clear on what we want to achieve. But then one day he said, Anthony, you have a choice. I cannot have you split focus. You have to decide, are you going to be full time with me and your amazing vision that wants to have the biggest impact on the world, your highest impact in God's, like what God gave you, or you will settle for just a sales job. And at the time I was a bit triggered by that. I was a bit pissed. I'm like, why can't I just be both? Why can't I just have my normal job and then do this also at the same time? But he could not accept that because he's already multimillionaire. He could see the potential in me that I was just keeping myself low in the paradigm of like, yeah, but I will figure it out. Like, let me make some few tens of thousands, and then I can do this full time. And maybe that will relate to you too, bro. I don't know if that's gonna trigger you something potentially, but basically, that job didn't work out, and I was forced by the universe to jump into a complete new project, a complete startup, even more than you, with absolute faith that whatever I'm doing with him in terms of coaching, personal development, and helping young people who want to be entrepreneurs, who want to be artists and express their fullest expression, we help them. We want to help them. So when I think about this, bro, the vision was also so clear. And like you would tell me, Anthony, what would you do if tomorrow you had $30 million liquid? You can do whatever you want. How would you spend your day? I would tell you, I would still go and help people who want to get started and find their true passion, find their true purpose, not just being okay with having an okay job or a good paying job, which is golden handcuffs, and then you're stuck in a job that's like, well, I have this great lifestyle now, but my heart is empty. My soul is like, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I need 3 coffees to wake up. This is not normal. This is not, you should not have to rely on external stimulants too much. I mean, you cannot enjoy it. So to come back to the middle, I said no to this job. This job had some, I would say people or things that were not very transparent with clients, and my soul could not resonate with the way they were doing business. So I had to have the courage to say, I'm sorry, I cannot work with you the way you do business. It's not aligned with my values. And as I did that, all the doors start to open on the real calling with my partner. And now we're like just the momentum is just incredible. Like what we're building, the planning, you see, and you and yours are planners. If you could see like what's on the back scene, your mind will be like atomic bomb, literally. So why I'm speaking about all of this is just to share the energy of the passion, the energy of when you truly tap. So again, who's listening to this today in this half podcast, half coaching session is when you tap into this infinite potential that is just made for you. Only you is on earth able to do that. Nobody else can do it but you. You're in a category of one. You become without competition. You might look at others for encouragement, for inspiration, or even like healthy competition, like, oh, well, I'm doing better than this. But you can only do you. Nobody else can do it for you or instead of you. But it takes the biggest courage, the biggest leap of faith to say, you know what, I'm going to actually go and do it. And I don't care what people will say. Maybe your partner will be against you for a little while. Maybe your parents will be against you, old colleagues, people on Facebook or whatever. You need to be able to just shut all of this down and only go within and only listen to yourself and the higher calling, the higher energy, because ultimately you are with yourself for the rest of your life. So you're gonna let your dream be smashed by external authorities, which are not even real, or you're gonna go all into what you truly love.
Yeah. And you'll show up in the world, and I can already get that sense from you, Anthony. Like you're showing you've when your mission is totally aligned and your vision and your dreams are totally aligned, then the universe starts to open up for you. The path
Yes,
starts to get created, because you're listening to your intuition, right? You're
really.
There's still going to be challenges, there's still going to be setbacks, there's still going to be obstacles, but when you have clarity and then you're keeping things simple, right? You're simplifying because you're removing what's not in alignment. So that's what's going on for me as well. I'm
Mm,
starting to remove people, materials, places that are no longer in alignment with who I am at the core. Because
give me an example.
to a certain degree, at work, right? You're putting on a face. Everyone puts on a face. It's not who they truly are.
Yeah.
Who they truly are at the core has to come to the surface in one way or another
Hmm.
of who you truly authentically are, and that takes time. Takes courage, right?
Yes.
Everyone reaches that point at a different time, but once you reach it and you truly listen to your heart and your soul and what your soul is telling you, then the world really starts to open up, and then things start to make sense, and then people start to come into your life and act as a sign of, nope, I'm on the right path, I'm doing the right things, I just got to keep going. Like Alex Hormozy has a post. I don't like all the stuff that he posts, but he has these slide decks of uh like these graphics or cartoons, and then he's like has a tombstone and it says RIP on it, and then it says, oh, cryptocurrency trader, wholesaler, drop
Mm,
shipper, and he's like,
yeah,
you can't do everything. You can't do everything. We have to get extremely dialed in and specialized with one area. When we
100%.
do that, that's how that gives us all our ultimate power to prosper. Even if it fails, then we switch to something else. But until then, you gotta all the eggs in one basket,
The
not in
failing is,
14.
yeah, exactly. I think that, bro, that's such a good point because failing is a refinement. It's like the refining fire that you need to go through to finally get what you want. I'm 33 years old, and I speak about this in one of my video on YouTube. Is like when I was in college, early like late teens to 23, 24, I was just trying everything I could try. And is it the good path or the wrong path? There is no wrong path. Your path is your path. Everybody will have a different path. And I think with today's society, it's very hard to ask a teenager to decide a career for the rest of their life. I think it's very
Yeah.
unrealistic. It's based on very old ways of doing, which create employees, and you know that this is just a fact. So to be able to help students or people who are a bit older tap into their unique genius zone. And you mentioned earlier like ADHD. And when you drop this label of ADHD and you just realize, well, that person has this hyper focus, that person has the attention surplus order. That's coming from my one of my mentors, Dr. DiMartini. He was saying like ADHD on one side and then ASO, attention surplus order on the other side. Yet you have both. You have to realize that those are just labels. It's how you operate in the world. And you might have to hire people to help you with your taxes, with your, for example, me, one of my weaknesses, my physical letters, like from post, the post office, it's messy. I want to improve that. But I'm very organized in my business, in my conversations. I have notes on everything, on all my personal development, my diet and everything. But everybody might have those little like, ah man, this is not super professional. But at least are you aware of the problem? And once you see that, then are you the one who will solve it yourself? And I think as entrepreneurs in startup, it's very hard sometimes to drop the 15 hats we wear at the same time and realize, well, I might be able to hire a VA for $5 an hour after all. Maybe I can start to delegate some of these things. But we might think, oh, but are they going to do it the same way as I do it? And that's again,
Yeah.
that's just keeping me stuck because I edit my own videos and I'm like, bro, I could use this time in such a higher CO energy than being on CapCut that amount of minutes per day, but
Yeah.
I still do it.
Yeah.
What is the attachment? I don't understand. I mean, I can transcend it, but I am just aware like this has to change. My body is telling me, Anthony, you cannot edit all those clips yourself. It's not max ROI. You can pay $10 an hour or $10 per
Yeah.
video
Yeah.
instead of being this guy who can earn 10K per hour if you do like high level stuff for the company's brand for the next 5 to 10 years. You know,
Yeah. No, I totally get you on that. Like automate, delegate, those two things are especially when you're doing it all on your own, you have to. Um, Otherwise, you get burnt out. It's too much. So, and even if the quality is slightly less, I don't care. Like
yeah,
delegating the podcast clips to AI, like we're gonna splice this into probably
yeah,
40 or 60 clips. It's gonna be a month worth of content.
it will
That's
be a lot.
efficient to me. That's like
Yeah,
whatever 30 to 60-second clips, or 15 to 20, or 15 to 30. That's
very
perfect.
long, really
Bite
ripping.
size, bite size pieces of content. Anyone
Yeah,
that's listening to this will they can take what they want out of it. Um, and it's just and it's raw, it's real, it's authentic, and it's
yeah,
relatable. So
absolutely. So what do you think? So now that you're a solopreneur and you have those big goals, you have those big ambitions, are you see yourself having a lot of clients and everything?
mm-hmm.
Where do you think you need the most help right now? Which is not just like you doing everything. Like what could be the next big move for you to leverage yourself and start treating yourself more as the boss of your life and your brand, not just like owning a job
I would have to say the editing. I'll be delegating. I want to get to
and
the point
posting?
where I can, which I will get to. I'll delegate all of my editing to an editor. I have an editor right now. I'm using him a little bit. He's excellent. He's like from the UK. He's very affordable. And I told him straight up, I was like, hey, I'm until I see significant revenue, this is gonna be like pay per use kind of
Yeah,
projects for you. And he's like, I will. He's like, Alex, I'll do it however you want to do it. And I was like, fair, that's awesome. And he always um, he's made some awesome content for me, and it's done really well. And it's this, and I told him like, this is going to be an amazing year for my brand. We're going to grow together. You're going to build your portfolio. I'm going to build my brand. um, and I'll use you as much as I possibly can. So my goal is to basically get to the point where I have him on like monthly retainer, and then he's editing all of it, every post, 14 posts a week, and then the longer form videos. I don't want to do any of that. I want to be.
Yeah.
I want my thing is create my creativity zone genius content on the fly. You give me any idea. We're having a conversation that this conversation will create another 30 to 40 ideas for me in a heartbeat. It's just the way I operate. I just brain dump on my notes app, or I'll plug it into Chat GPT, all my thoughts, and then I'm like, refine these, turn them into 40 ideas. I'll never run out of content. There'll be thousands by the time I'm in my 40s. I'm 32 now.
Man,
I'll be at probably 4,000, 10,000 pieces of content. You wait. It's going to be like, and I see myself as a thought leader. I see myself, right, being
you are.
like, yep, on online personal, like in person and online personal trainer and full time content creator. That's where I see myself. That's where the brand's going. That's who I'm becoming. Um, and people will gravitate. I'm at 100. I don't know if I told you, I'm at 177 YouTube subscribers right now.
Amazing.
Um, I'm at 171 on TikTok, so I'm gonna just stick with those two. That's plenty. Um, and I've definitely had some things go viral. I've had the funniest thing. My ice cream. I did an ice cream reel about me making ice cream, and that's still trending. It gets 100 views every 48 hours because it got found in search. It's at 90 9,800 views, and then I just did a mango sorbet recipe, and that's already at 20 almost 2,200 views. So you just never know what's gonna hit. So you just gotta post it.
People like simple stuff.
This is a refined. Always be closing. Always be creating. That's my new motto.
Mm.
Always be creating. No matter if you think it's a garbage post, post it anyway.
Yeah.
As long as it aligns with your brand, post it anyway. Always be creating is my motto with the mindset brand.
ABC. ABC. Always be
ABC.
creative.
Yeah.
As simple as it gets. I think it's one thing like for everybody who listens now and maybe they have an idea and I mentioned this a few times in my videos, but people have this fear of just starting to post. But then when you start to post, this fear you realize it was so stupid. I will give you an example. So I recorded my first long form video in my living room a few days ago. And when I pressed play, it was with a tripod with my iPhone, just with the right camera. My wife helped me. When I pressed play, I was not as anxious and like worried about what I would say than a few years ago or even a few weeks ago when I started to be more active because I just start to take my phone every day and just walk outside and just or in my bedroom just like record stuff in like little bits. And just the simple fact of doing this, bro, it gave me so much more confidence that actually I am a content creator. Like there's no self judgment about do I still have something good to say. Like my story will inspire those who need inspiration from that aspect of the life. I'm not there where I want to be financially yet, but everything ahead of me is so beautiful. Like it will literally be a waterfall in the weeks and months to come. Like no question, no doubt possible. So that being said, people often they judge themselves like I don't have something to say or I'm not valuable enough, but you have no clue who wants to listen to you or who is stuck in their life right now that your exact story would unlock something in their mind by you sharing what you're the most vulnerable and maybe even ashamed of sharing. My money situation, I think like since I was a child, I was raised more like we can't afford this or like we cannot do that. So it became like this mental prison of like scarcity and having a few times as an entrepreneur where I could not even buy food normally for my family in Georgia and everything. And like those stories, when people hear that, and then when you see that you made it, they get goosebumps from these kind of stories because it's real, it's raw, it's authentic, and you have nothing to hide. That like it was not a pretty path. It was not like a unicorn rainbow, but I just allowed like every moment that I was like on my knees and like God, what do you want from me? Like, I cannot do this anymore. There was always this spark, this little flame, like, Anthony, you got this. Here is exactly the amount of money you need to for the next thing. Here is somebody cheering you up, somebody inviting you to the restaurant to have a conversation or whatever. But people are just so stuck in their little routine, their little like self-imposed prison at home or at the office, and like never gonna make it. Like they're cynical and everything. Like, why decide to be cynical when you can just decide to feed your mind with more positive news? Of course, the world has some negative stuff. Of course, there's wars, there's famine and child poverty. We know about all of this. I'm not saying we shouldn't help them. I'm saying the best way you can help these things is by you being the wealthiest, healthiest, most empowered, most authentic leader you can be. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You can help way more people when you help yourself first and you get yourself totally in line with who you're meant to be.
Yes,
Totally
exactly.
aligned with who you want to need to be. Yeah.
You see, bro, I really see for you, I see such a big vision. I'm very grateful for the context of this conversation because today you have the opportunity to speak about your vision with me to materialize in the voice form. But like now, not even closing my eyes, I can literally see such a bigger impact than you think you will have. And it's like, it's undeniable. It's undeniable how you're clear on what you want, the way you speak, the way you behave for yourself, the way you have your platform already there and growing and so focused on this message. Then, regardless of how it looks like on the outside for now, it's irrelevant. Like how many followers you have, how many views you have, all of this, it comes with time. And you've been putting in the work, as I see, I know. But eventually there will be this kind of windfall event of like or amazing opportunity that you've been preparing for this and now it's there the same way I started now my new full-time, I would say, career or like project. Well, I had to go through all this amazing BS from the last 10, 15 years. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's not the thing, that's not the thing, that's not the thing. Fall in the face, mud in the face, get back up, wife say like, Anthony, just go get another job. I know what I want. And I want people who listen to this, I want people to realize that everybody has this kind of mission in their heart, but we sometimes it's just like it's a bit dusty. So I believe that me and Alex, we're on this path together to come and just clean the window so the light can come in the home, can come in the living room like, wow, such a nice furniture we have, such a nice real estate we possess.
You can't
But
you
people
can't sometimes see the vision or the dream sometimes, and it can get muddled because it's scattered or it's unclear. The scattered puzzle or the muddled, like the dusty windows, and as soon as you
exactly. Yeah.
you need to go through some hardships and some turbulence and some challenges and adversity to clear and clean up the dust because it
Yes.
could be clouding your vision, your dream.
And
And
that
through time and through effort and through experience, overcoming the adversity, you slowly start that the clarity starts to come out of everything you've gone through. And then, like you said, like I've been preparing for this for my whole life. Um, and you don't know when it's going to happen. You can't put a timestamp on it. Dr. Joe Dispenza, I'm a big fan of his work. And he says, in order to manifest, in order to listen to the universe, you have to get in tune with your soul and what your soul and your heart and your mind's telling you. But you can't put a timestamp on it. If you rush the time, then it won't happen, right? You gotta
mm,
just you gotta just go through it. You gotta meditate on it. You gotta work towards it, and then but don't worry about the time. Just keep having the vivid mental imagery, creating those images, like looking at the pictures, looking at your vision board, looking at the videos over and over and over again of what you want. Um, and eventually it will come to fruition. You just don't know when that is. So you just
Yes.
it's taken me up until now of this part of my life to get to be okay with uncertainty, the
Mm-hmm.
unknown. You have to it's unknown and it's uncertain for reasons because we're we're leaving what's meant to be for us up to the universe. But we're preparing for it through the adversity that we go through our personal development journey.
Yeah.
But we have to go through it all in order to get to the other side of it, to be prepared for the huge opportunity that's waiting for us on the other side.
Yes. Absolutely. Do you feel like you have right now in your life the kind of friends, of high level friends who are on this kind of frequency that we have right now? Are you surrounded by these people already that you see this circle like grow with you on a daily basis and you want to like achieve everything you want to do together? Or you feel like you have some friends who are maybe more on the lower frequency side, even though you can love them and see them once in a while, like you need to decide, okay, I cannot spend as much time on the weekends with these guys, for example, just because it's a distraction, even though I love them as brothers. What's your thought on that?
I definitely have. So the cool thing is every I have a very tight knit friend group, but
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely been spending less time with everyone just because I'm so focused on my journey
Yeah.
and they get it. Sometimes they get frustrated, but we're actually I've noticed we're all becoming way more in line with who we want to become and the path that we want to create for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we've all been kind of talking to each other less simply because we're so busy. We're fixated on our on getting through the adversity, um, on the path to our to who we're to achieving our full potential. And so, a lot of times, right? So there's this statement or this quote: "You'll never be judged by someone that's doing more than you. You will never be
Mm.
ridiculed or bullied or by someone that's doing way more than you. They don't have time. They don't have time. They're so obsessed about achieving what they want to achieve that they're like yeah, they have friends too and stuff, but one thing that Alex Hormozy said too, which really resonated with me, was he's like, if you've got super ambitious, goal driven, um, vision, dream oriented people in your life, get used to not being able to see them often because they're on a mission just like you are.
Mm-hmm.
So don't take offense to that. Be more, come to terms with that. If you want great individuals, if you want to attract great individuals, great minds into your life, be okay with only seeing them like infrequently,
Or
especially in the
co-create.
beginning. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Simply because they're on a mission just like you are and they know how hard the journey is um and it's very relatable when you're in the thick of it. You'll find like we're in the thick of it, right?
Yes.
We're figuring it out. We're in the weeds. We're in
Yeah.
the brush, and not a lot of people can relate to that. If your dreams, your aspirations aren't large enough, sometimes people don't understand that, and that's okay. But the more in tune and the more um, in line aligned you are with your dream and your mission, the more you're going to be unavailable. And people that will either like that or not like that. But um, you, in order to put in the work, you have to kind of be um, a bit of a ghost for
Yeah.
an extended while sometimes to get to where you want to get to. And it's nothing personal. It's just business. It's part of the path. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
your time becomes even more valuable, and only the people that are on that path will understand you.
Yeah. And I will add to this that if you have the chance to get a friend slash business partner slash mentor, if you have this trifecta like I have right now, I'm pretty blessed. This is like a really nice relationship. I literally, bro, I spend time every day with that person, and at first like 30 minutes, then it became we spent like maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours a day together. Most of the days being coached by a guy who's an eight-figure entrepreneur and investor. Well, you can imagine that my brain starts to think very differently as I have this lot of exposure on a daily basis, or like five, six times a week. What happens to me is that I just cannot stand excuses anymore. I cannot just be complacent with what how things are. I cannot accept when people say something or show me distracting things. Like I will be very honest with you. That even sometimes, if my wife show me some video or some like distracting thing from TikTok or whatever, I can realize that well, I don't really need to watch this full clip video, like this or a few minutes, or is it like actually helping me to achieve my goal? I'm not saying you should be heartless with your partner, but there could be some times, or like driving aimlessly in the city, like searching for a parking. And it happened to me a few times this week. I'm like, I was not getting triggered by this before because I was not valuing my time as much as now. Like realizing an hour of Anthony's time with the CEO mindset for the vision that is ahead is worth so much more than just like being an Uber driver, basically. And again, respect to all these people. Like it's not about the job you do. It's about when you tap into this higher calling, then you really analyze like where am I spending all these minutes. I'm not saying you should become like a freaking like annoying person to be around, but just have some clearer boundaries, which I struggle with for most of my life. To be able to set boundaries and like have people respect, and even like for feeling forced to answer DMs when it's somebody that I know is just like small talk and you just there's no potential friendship or partnership. It's just like to be polite. All of this is gone. I don't care about this anymore. I don't know. Do you have a similar experience too?
Yeah. So if I don't know you and your mission or what you're saying to me is not in line with my mission, you're going to get zero response. I will not. I will not answer your voicemail. I will not answer your call. I will not answer your text. I will not answer your DM if it does not align with my mission. If you're aligned with my mission and you say something that resonates with me and it resonates with my brand and we're in line, then I'll be talking to you. But if you're not in line with the person that I want to become, you won't hear from me. That's just total. That's just a respect. That's just a respectful. Yeah, you just I just won't interact with those people because I'm creating space for the people and the things and the visions that are that align with mine.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
absolutely.
you, like you said, like making time and space for who you're meant to become
Hmm.
is just you learn to be more selective with your time and how you spend your time, and then that helps, right, with you where you put your work in, and the people that you spend your time with become super important. So
Yeah. So that being said, if we go past the 12-month vision, like what is the craziest, like if we imagine like the maxed out version of you, like regardless of your age, like you have everything you can think about, you have all the impact you want. How's Mindset Podcast and the brand on a global scale?
mm. So it's a global brand, 30 plus million listeners worldwide. I have an office, or
Mhm.
so I not only I have an office with a giant illuminated Mindset logo. So kind of like how Lewis Howes, right, where he does his sit down, he's got the School of Greatness logo right
Yeah,
behind
love
or right in the middle.
that.
Guest,
Hmm.
guest. I have that vision for Mindset's brand, and then I'm basically doing I would say 3 to 5 episodes a week
Hmm.
with guests. And again, it's full time. And it's
High
also
level
not only is
coaching.
it full time, but it's also I'm getting revenue from the podcast. I'm getting revenue from my online community, my online fitness community. I've transitioned from one on one, or yeah, one on one in person coaching. It's pretty much entirely online. I have a team of 5 to 7 people that are helping me edit the podcast, produce the podcast. I just hit click record. They have the whole thing set up for us.
Yeah.
And then I also do live on location where I go to my guests and we do it in whatever, in their office, live on location. I fly to
Welcome to
them.
Georgia, bro. Welcome to
Yeah,
Georgia. As I'm going
yeah,
back in a few months, not even
yeah,
like end
yeah,
of September, I should be there. I would say over the next year, I will be there many months, like maybe on and off Canada and there. So we
yeah.
have to make it work in a more exotic environment. It will be
Oh,
cool in a
totally.
mountain or
It would be
something.
unreal. And then I see the vision as I'm so net 25 to 30,000 a month monthly cash
Hmm.
flow net after
Yeah.
tax. Um, and then I have a mindset mobile app that's
Hmm.
totally integrated with the brand, mind, body, and soul. So mine would be brain hacks, everything I've learned about the brain that's super helpful that can be done in as little as a minute a day or a couple times a week, where it's refining your thinking, sharpening your thinking, body, how I train, laser focused, efficient workouts, no more than 20 to 30 minutes or 15 to 30 minutes, and you still see impact, and you're not freaking in the gym 7 days a week, but you're actually in the gym 3 days a week, and you look like someone that's in there 7 days a week. And then the last piece, soul, would be maybe tapping into your tuition activities, tools that you can use that will get you more in tune with who you want to be. Because a lot of people tapping into that takes a level of training,
Yeah. I
and
agree.
maybe education, like tapping into that higher consciousness. It takes us,
Some reps for sure.
yep, some reps. So that'll be integrated into the app as well. And then I've already drafted it already. I'm waiting until I become a certified personal trainer, but I have a draft of an ebook that'll be my first kind of product before I do, like, nutrition plans, workout plans. I'll
Yeah.
have a series of ebooks that are
Nice.
mindset focused, mind, body, and soul optimization, the trifecta, building all three, and then you'll have some about mind, some about body, some about soul, about my personal philosophy on uh, how important integrating all three of those into your life is for building and optimize um, amazing life.
Yeah. What would you say? So the Alex who is at that level, who do you need to become? Of course, you are everything already, but who do you need to become, or what's the difference between this guy with the maxed out vision and right now? How
Just
are you
keep
different?
going.
Just keep
Uh,
going.
yeah, I just keep going. I don't care about any setbacks or anything that happens. My vision's clear. Um, yeah, I might have moments where I get sidetracked a little bit, but I just keep going. I know what I want. There's total clarity on what I want, where and who I want to become, and I keep working towards pruning the weeds, refining and sharpening the mind
Yeah.
daily. Right, I do hard things daily: cold
Hmm.
plunge, cold showers, a little bit of fasting, like
Yeah.
bulletproof fasting, like modified version of fasting, right? Like
Right.
bulletproof coffee, like
Yeah. I remember.
tablespoon of grass fed butter, teaspoon of MCT oil. Not every day, but every second day. And then I take time off, right? I'm metabolically flexible, so my mind is sharp as a razor because I challenge my mind and my body like how life challenges us because it throws us curveballs. So I kind of try and simulate that with my mind and my body daily. So then
Mm.
things aren't as much of a shock because I shock my system in different ways on a weekly and daily
Yeah.
basis. Like microdose of hardship, mimic hard moments so I can quickly switch states
Yeah.
and I'm more adaptable. And
That's
that's who the future Alex will become. He'll be totally so optimized that no matter what I go through, I've, like David Goggins says in his book Can't Hurt Me, which I'm reading right now. Um, I've calloused my mind like I've calloused my hands from training.
yeah.
All the
Yeah.
calluses I've gotten from deadlifting, bench press,
Hmm.
uh, heavy bag workouts. I've calloused my mind so much that it's a it's a fortress of it's an armored mind. So I've armored my body from years of training, but I've also been armoring my mind. My mind is a suit of armor as well.
That's amazing.
Resilient, emotionally intelligent, emotionally adaptable.
Yeah, so beautifully said. The image of the armor is very powerful. Who do you think you can help the most right now? What is the typical person that will text you or call you to have some help?
It would be clients. The biggest challenge that clients will have, right, on their fitness journey. It's not the physical part. It's the mental part.
Hmm.
That's the part that everyone's learning. Um, that most people aren't equipped with. Some people will be equipped with it. It might be reversed. It might be they're very willed with their mind, and then not as much with their body. They don't know how to tap into that next level with their body. And then but most people will be. I'm having a hard time staying motivated, like the motivation thing.
Hmm.
I used to think that way as well. I'm like, oh, I'm not motivated right now. I'm not going to do this. Well, turns out we actually don't need motivation at all. We can have zero motivation and still do the thing and still do it well. And that's what people are. That's what going to be the biggest life lesson, the biggest learning lesson, no matter how old you are. You don't need any motivation to do the thing. You just need to do the thing, and then it creates motivation. Or you will, you will be reaffirming. You will be giving yourself self-esteem, not taking away self-esteem. Because as soon as we have those moments when we're just not doing it because we're not motivated, as soon as we don't do the reps, we take away the reps. That's when we're actually going to feel we're neglecting ourselves. We're it's a blow to our self-esteem because we're lying to ourselves. We're not doing the thing that we said we were going to do. So the more that we do the thing that we said we were going to do, no matter how long the duration is, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 45 minutes, um, the more that we do the thing, the more that we will create momentum, and then the momentum will create the motivation over time. And even then, even when we're still not motivated, let's say the whole week, so there's a lot of personal stuff going on. There's hardships, there's setbacks, personally, professionally. Um, doesn't matter. Um, we don't need the motivation. We just need the discipline. We just need to create discipline and create the discipline muscle, the getting the reps in muscle, and it is a muscle that can be carved, that could be built, just like we're building our muscles in the gym. This is
Yes,
another area of our mind that can be carved. So when we show up, we're like, I don't need motivation. I just need to do it.
exactly. Would you say it's the biggest message you would say to your younger self, like 18 to 24? If you had to tell them one thing, it would be this.
Get the reps in. Get the reps in. You get the reps in. And I always got the reps in with training. I always got the reps in. And with my mind, I always got the reps in. Um, it's just different now because I've just learned some other tools that I've added to the toolkit to really help enhance the mind more, to really help enhance the body more. And you learn from your mistakes. I was training a lot more and I don't look as good as I do now. I look 10 times better than I do now because I know more, because I'm
Yeah,
wiser, because
amazing.
I you're always learning, right? Um, Tony Robbins' mentor, what's the guy's name? Oh God, he actually has a ton of YouTube content, more YouTube content after he passed away than he did while he was alive, because he's wrote amazing speeches, and he says he always said the same thing in his speeches to his audiences. He would say, work on yourself harder than you work on your job, harder than you work on your business.
Jim
Let's say,
Rohn.
yeah, yep, Jim Rohn, yeah. He's like, work on yourself, on your personal development harder than you work on anything else. If you do that, you'll have an amazing life,
Hmm.
because um, you'll be simulating uh, hard things. You'll be doing hard things that will prepare you for what you're meant to do, who you're meant to become, the career path or the business uh, that you're meant to do.
Yeah, that's it, bro. That's literally like if people can understand that part in itself, it can englobe everything else that you need to realize. Like, but I have this perspective also. Like when I wake up in the morning, I'm a very early morning kind of guy. I'm not saying it's for everybody as intense as me, but I spend my first around 3 hours in the morning for myself. So like from 4 to 7 before my family wakes up. I see that as like imagine somebody who would decide to invest 15-20% of their income for future investment, savings, or projects. Well, I do this in terms of my time, energy, and attention on myself. So like this 3 hours on maybe 17, 18 hours a day that I'm awake. I take this first for myself. It's like I have an emotional bank account or a personal development bank account that I can put this every single day. I put those reps in exactly as you said. So that over time, even if you start and you're more maybe uh, you're shyer or you have uh, low self-esteem or doubts, as you start to do the actions every day, the discipline, health, mental and spiritual, and even other spheres, then the confidence builds, and people start to make comments about who you are, and not that you seek validation from the outside, but it can still play a little role. And like, if okay, a specific example, as I start to be more intense on my own personal development, my wife showed some interest in what I was doing, and now she's going to the gym with me 3 times a week. So I have some days I'm going alone, and some days she's coming with me, and I'm coaching her. And it's such a pleasure for me to be in this new role of like being able to teach her some basic things and seeing her giving some effort. Because most of today's society, we're like very used to be always sitting home and like on the computer. So just having this positive impact on those you love around you is such a beautiful feeling. Like it's giving you a paycheck that is beyond just money. You literally feel empowered from just being a leader, walking the path. Every day I wake up, I feel healthy. I stand well. I mean, I'm smiling to people. I open doors. I want to help whoever I can help from the bottom of my heart, not because I need to feel forced. I need to sell them something. Money will come as it comes, and you will sell what you need to sell when it aligns with people. But like I'm no longer in this paradigm of like closing people and forcing sales to happen or forcing transaction. Like, can we build this relationship, and then whatever is the next step will emerge from itself.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a powerful thing because when you're working on yourself so hard, it rubs off on others that are around you.
Exactly.
It seeps into their life, and if you're a huge inspiration for people, and you're like you're going through the pain or you're going through the adversity, and they see that, and then you just keep going, that inspires people. That gets people off the couch. That gets people like, hey, like if this person can go through all this, I can do it. I can put in the work. But I gotta go. My wife's just texting me there, but I loved our conversation, Anthony, and we're gonna be posting this. We're gonna get a lot of content out of this,
Next
and
up, so
it's an
post
absolute
everything.
pleasure. Thank you for the coaching
I
call,
hope it
and
brought some clarity, some good vibes for you today. And yeah, it's just like
great
you never know
vibes.
how it's gonna happen, but like it was like this today. So I feel like the biggest benefit for you is just like extreme clarity on who you are and what you want, and being able to speak as the leader that you are already. Just embody the frequency, and it's gonna ripple the effect on everything else that you do in the weeks and months to come. So thank you, my friend,
Absolutely.
for showing up for
Yeah,
yourself.
and I'll send you this. I'll send you this. This link.
Yeah,
And then I'll post the whole thing. I can post the whole
yeah,
thing on to put it
to
on
go. Yeah,
YouTube,
long
and
form
then
and
and then turn
short.
into
Yeah,
clips. Yep.
my
Awesome.
man.
Right on. Thanks,
Love you,
buddy.
bro. See you soon.
Yeah, love you
Take
too.
care.
All right.
Bye bye.
Thanks for watching Mindset, where we empower your mind, body, and soul. Already a subscriber? Dive deeper. Check out more videos on the channel. New here? Hit that subscribe button and join the journey. Looking to level up your recovery? Download my free Ice Bath Mastery freebie guide. Link in the description of all my videos or reels. Plus, explore my affiliate links in the description of all videos and reels below to start building your brand and business today.